God damn it,
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Is that B? Hold on, let me go check on him. B, you alright? The fuck? What the fuck happened?
Who the fuck put a goddamn
shit
in the ceiling? Fuck! Come here to go to the bathroom and really piss in my pants.
Look what he fucking all over our rugs. Get your ass off the rugs.
God damn. Shit.
Yeah, all right.
I'm back. What the fuck is it in here for anyway?
Be farted!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show.
Ta-da!
It's our third episode.
I know,
Can you believe it? Wow, man, it's just amazing how this time flies. We lie through our teeth because this shit just takes forever, okay? We're just telling you now. Anyways, so we've got a lot to do this episode.
Yes, we do. A lot.
So we're going to get right into it. So we're going to start with our weekly session. Let's have a Kiki.
Kiki. The stupid one.
I'm gonna put a chunch behind a martini glass.
Leave my privates alone.
Anyways,
Oh my God.
so our Kikis typically revolve around our wallpaper for our phones of the week, a meme of the week, and an IG account we'd like you guys to follow, and one that we think is interesting, and then anything in TV and movies we want to talk about briefly. So with that, what's your wallpaper this week?
My wallpaper this week, you're actually going to see my wife and I. That's probably the only time you're going to see my wife.
That's probably the only time.
We're trying to get her to show her face on the camera, but she won't.
Yeah, no.
You'll hear her yelling at us, but that's not it.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've only contracted her voice, that's it.
And her chancla.
The chancla will come
Okay, so
through at
don't
some
be
point,
surprised
okay?
if you see one flying at us.
Right. That's because we crossed a line we should not have
That's
crossed.
it. No, not the chancla.
Okay, so you and the wifey. Okay, so what's your meme for this week?
My meme this week was I seen on Facebook this picture of these bunch of old people sitting on a bench talking. And do you remember what the saying was on that by any chance?
No.
Well, we're going to show you a picture of it.
It's going to be this.
And when you see it, then you'll
And we laughed a lot about it.
I think it was about remembering something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably what
forgot.
it was. Okay, well, my wallpaper this week is actually one of Aunt B from the Andy Griffith Show, but not like you've ever seen her before.
Woo!
Get it, Aunt B. Yeah, right. She's looking all fine. Yeah, her big bouffant hair. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's my girl.
That's
Okay.
it.
So that's my wallpaper. And then the meme I have, I was kind of like struggling with a couple of them. And the one that I finally settled on is... Okay.
But subscribe.
So I told you guys that I was an author, right? Or I am an author. Well, one of the things that's been really common amongst authors who are trying to make it and break into the business, because Lord knows it ain't an easy business to break into, but there's this meme going around from the Mean Girls, and then they've got Snooki from what is that show? The one with the
Snooki. Honey Snooki.
What was she from?
Where was she from? The
Jersey
Jersey
Shore.
The Jersey Shores, yeah.
There's
Snooki from Jersey. See how?
Chocolate lady.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah, she got her finger on the pulse,
She
right?
does, right?
And they did. No, so this one is a really funny one for a lot of authors, and it could almost be applied to any job that you hold. But it's a really funny meme, and it's a funny meme of the week. So, your Instagram account. What Instagram are you going to push this week?
Today I'm pushing Oprah. Yes, folks, Oprah.
And you get an Instagram account, and you get an Instagram account.
And you, will you subscribe and like? You subscribe and like.
There you go.
And you
There you
subscribe
go.
and like. Woo! That's what what I'm talking about.
There you go.
Who are we talking about? No, I'm just kidding. I got excited.
Girl,
Oprah,
I'm back in my drink, okay?
No drinking allowed. No, Oprah's because she's, gosh, man, she's very inspirational and she's such a giving woman.
And she's been an ally of the community for a
long time. So, kudos to her. To her today.
Okay. My Instagram account is actually 2 of them. I also run a podcast called the Rope Podcast, which the letters stand for Written on the Edge. And we're now in our 5th year. So if you want to listen to a podcast that deals a lot with queer artistry across all kinds of genres, I invite you to take a listen to Rope Podcast at ropepodcast.com. But my 2 Instagram accounts are with the co-founders that started it with me. One is Van Sebastian, so it's at Van Sebastian, and the other one is Lady Jaguar Writes. And both of those Instagram accounts are great. They're just wonderful, wonderful people. And they were very, very helpful. We all came together to create the Rope Podcast, and now we're in our 5th year. So, who knew it was going to last that long? So, yeah.
Well, I hope we last longer, huh?
Well,
that'd be cool. I actually got to not meet in person, but
Facebook
request of your Jaguar friend.
Lady Jaguar, yeah.
She's
Jane
amazing.
Lockwood.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
All right. So, anything special in TV and movies that you watched this week?
Woo! Folks.
Okay. Let me preface this question for you because this is fucking hysterical. So, you know how I've gotten them hooked on a couple of TV series because we're staying there with them here in the house. So they've watched Schitt's Creek straight through. They've watched, so they've watched a lot of shows, right? So last night they got caught up on one that a friend of theirs called Viva. I'm assuming that's what you're going to talk about, right? Okay. So the reason why we're kind of slap happy stupid is because these 2 numbnuts were up till 7:30 in the morning binging the damn thing. So why don't you tell them about it?
Let me put my glasses on. No, I'm just kidding. It was interesting because quite a few people actually were telling me, you got to see this film that's called Vida. And supposedly there was some girl on there that looked like me. So I have to say, shut up, because she doesn't. Okay? I am much cuter than that, I think, right? Subscribe. And so I watched it. It was interesting. It was about back in East LA, and it was this gay bar that the mother gay bar again.
I'm telling you, we can't give it up,
Damn.
We keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Quit it.
That still feels funny when I do it.
I know, right? Wow. No, so anyway, it was.
But you weren't really into it in the very beginning, huh?
No, I was not. And this is gonna sound funny. People that know me are gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about, Tuffy?" There was a lot of graphic stuff in there, a lot of sexual things that maybe I'm just too old now.
We gotta cover her eyes when it happens.
Please.
The wifey says it's just adult stuff.
I have to go like this.
You gotta hide your eyes.
Night.
Yeah, right.
No.
Adults only.
But I guess I'm just getting old, because it did not float my boat.
But not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning, but after that first season, we got into the second one, and then it was like, okay, there's only this many. This is what we watch. Well, we watched the whole 3 series
in one night.
And my wife and I, we went to bed at 7:30 in the morning.
On the day that we're taking. It's now 9:45 at night. You're in San Diego. Because we just woke them up literally like an hour ago. Yeah, we gotta do the show.
I'm like, oh, okay. So Vida, I give it thumbs up. It's got a good story behind it.
There you go.
How about you, bud?
My latest thing actually is I've been on the hunt for a movie that I saw with the guy that I was with before I got married to my current husband. We had gone to
gay.
see. Yeah, I know, gay. I'm
Gay, you're
so
so gay.
But we went and saw a movie back in the day, and it was actually the 100th anniversary of the Jack the Ripper murders, and so the movie came out that same year. And so it was a big kind of a cool, big to-do thing. And that's with James Spader, and it's called Jack's Back. And it's actually, even though it's not a high-budget film, and you kind of figure out who it is that's doing the Jack the Ripper stuff, the copycat murders, I just like it because I think James Spader did a really amazing job in that movie. And it was probably the first time I saw him, because I mean, before then it was always the John Hughes films, where he always played a yuppie, smart ass, you know, kind of a dick. What are you pointing at me for?
I had a cramp.
Okay. But this was a real good role for him because he got to play twin brothers. And that was kind of cool. So my big thing is I finally got a copy of Jack's Back. So I loaded it in my library now. So and I have to tell you, I'm a media horror, okay? Because I got like tons of movies and TV series.
Big time horror.
And it's really scary because I'll still sit there and go, God damn it, there's nothing on TV. You know? You just like to hope.
And I played twins too. Remember I told you that in the last show?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's right.
Okay. All right. So that's it for our Kiki for this week. Let's go on to our story time.
Woo!
So for this week in story time, I thought we would pick a common topic that we both can relate to and tell the story of what it means to us. So there was a nightclub in San Diego during that time called Studio 9, and it was an underage club, but a lot of adults went there too. It kind of was a mix of everything. And there was another one called Stratus that was in East San Diego, but that was kind of more for the straight clientele, although it had some gays that went to it.
These ones stayed open later than the bars because there was no alcohol or nothing like that.
Right.
So we got to stay open a lot later,
Right.
you know, than 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock back in those days.
Back in 2.
So it was like at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning we got to stay.
Right. And so Studio 9 was, it was, for one thing, you had to find out about it from somebody else who was queer, because they didn't really advertise like on TV. They didn't advertise in, you know, any of the mainstream newspapers or magazines. So the only way you could find out about it was to hang out. So we used to hang out in Balboa Park, in the Fruit Loop part of Balboa Park, and we would hear things from people that we were meeting and stuff. So they had all told us about this club called Studio 9. So tell me what your first experience was going there and how you felt about it when you went there for the very first time.
You know, it was crazy because you walk in and they're playing at that time all this wonderful music, actually.
Yeah, the DJ was pretty good.
The DJ was really good, I will say.
Yeah.
You know, and the people there was really cool because you go there and you feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, everybody greets you. You know, and it's like, you know, hey, bitch. I'm kidding.
I did.
You did. Yeah. I'm a quit it, bitch.
Hey, bitch.
But, you know, it was cool because you go in there and you hang out, and all you do is dance. That's it. Remember that?
Yeah, you know, and when we do these dance breaks here,
Woo!
I'm telling you, 1 or 2 songs in, we are fucking cooked. It's just, we're done.
Don't let them fool you. It's half a song.
It's half a song.
Okay.
Like the 20 seconds you see on, that's about as long as we can get through these days.
I tell you what.
But back then, we danced nonstop. The moment we got there, hours we would be on the floor, just
constantly
shaking our tail feather. You know?
Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Now, me, it was interesting because I had met people at the park who told me about it, and I remember that I actually I met a guy by the name of Robert, and met him at the park, and we hit it off right away. We started talking, and we both liked the same kind of music and everything. And he told me about it, that he had gone there, and he said I should go check it out. And I said I didn't know where it was. Well, Studio 9 was not that far away from Balboa Park. It doesn't exist anymore, but at the time it wasn't that far away. And so I got in his car and we drove from the park out there, and he drove by it to show me where it was, right? So I told him I would meet him and his friends there that night. And I went home and I broke out in a cold sweat. I remember freaking the fuck out because I had gone to high school and stuff, and I'd been the subject of bullying and stuff like that, so I had to deal with that stuff. And it was just odd to me that I could go someplace and be totally safe. So I remember the very first night I was supposed to go and meet Robert and his friends. I actually drove out there and parked across the street. And El Cajon Boulevard in San Diego is like 8 lanes. It's huge. It's a very wide street. And I actually parked at the Baptist church that's across the street. Now, isn't that funny? Baptist church right across from a gay bar. But anyways, I parked there, and I remember for a good 3 hours, I'm not lying, 3 hours, I walked along that part of the sidewalk across the way, watching.
He wasn't working at that time.
I wasn't looking for a date.
Okay, date, anyway.
I wasn't pulling a Julia Roberts. Okay, I was just really scared to go in, and I don't know what it was, because I've never been a shrinking violet. I've always been, if I'm in a room with a bunch of new people, I will go up and introduce myself and start a conversation. That's just the way I am. But for some reason, that one particular night, I went totally off the rails, totally out of character. And I remember just being so frightened. It was like, I felt like Dorothy. Seriously, I know this is a total gay reference, but I literally felt like Dorothy, and I could see the colors across the way in my black and white world that I was in, and I could see, I could see, it was Jeffrey in the ruby slippers, that's what it was. But anyway, I could see colors, and it was just this weird kind of dichotomy. And I ended up chickening out that night. I actually got in my car and drove home. And Robert called me, because I had my own phone in my room. It was before cell phones, kids. So I had to have my own phone with my own phone number, and I paid for it. And and so he called me and asked me where I was. And I told him, I made up some kind of weird ass story about why I didn't show and yada, 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 yada. So I promised that I would go out, because I think that was like a Thursday night. And I told him I would go out the next night and meet up with his friends. I went the next night, parked across the street, and I think I parked across this huge ass road or boulevard, because then I knew if I crossed the street, I was making a conscious decision to actually go. If I had to cross those 8 lanes to get to the other side of a very busy thoroughfare, very, very busy boulevard, I knew that I was committed to it. So if I literally crossed that road, I was going to go in. And I stood out there for about another hour, and then Robert comes out with a couple of his friends, and he sees me standing on the other side, and he's like waving me down, come on. And so I finally did go across, and I went in, and then after that night, I was kind of like, what the hell was I so freaked out about? It's just a bunch of gay kids like me.
I know.
I don't know what I thought.
They're going to go up to him and say, you beast. I mean, really, come on. I'm like, and the funny thing is I'm their protector. Since we grew up, I'm still their protector.
Yep.
Believe it or not. Yep. I just use my cane.
And our walkers.
And my walker. Don't let me ride on you with my scooter.
That's right. Hey. She got my husband, she's building a rocket pack for her. She's going to be Rocketeer, but it's going to be on the little scooter.
Yeah. We had the best time though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was a lot of fun. I actually have some pictures that I'll be putting up here of Studio 9. Oddly enough, I don't know how my friends found them, or they found them buried in some of their old photos and stuff, but it's really rare that you have pictures, because back then people didn't have camera phones. If you had a picture, there's because you took a real camera.
It was a Polaroid.
Right? I mean, it was really bizarre. It was bizarre to have pictures from that era,
So shout out to Robert, because he's still in our lives today.
Still is.
So shout out to Robert.
And it's funny because I've connected with most of those people from that era that are still around, and sadly we lost some of them to
Yes.
the whole HIV and AIDS
Yeah.
era. But it's it's part of our lives in the queer community. And I think that with this whole COVID-19 thing, as a community, we get it because we know what it's like to have a virus really eating away at your community, and it feels like the government doesn't give a damn. We get it. We get it way more than you know. So that's our story time for this week. Yay! Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Moving on.
So. In the Enby Bag, we thought we would do because we're not reading our comments yet because we're waiting for a few of them to build up so we can just do one whole Enby Bag of comments. So what we decided to do was we're actually revisiting something that Tuffy said on our very first promo episode, and that is she invited anybody who's not of the queer community who always had a question that they wanted to ask the queer community. What would that question be? Yeah. So this is a list that we found on the net. It's also covered by Riyadh K, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. He was the first YouTuber that I fell in love with, and I started following him religiously. And I love his videos, and I love his mom and dad to death. They are the best. They are the best. But anyways, they had a list of topics, and I thought it'd be interesting for us to talk about it from our perspective. So this isn't meant to put down anybody who may have thought these questions. It's really more of a let's clear the air. Let's get these out of the way. And then if you have other questions, go ahead and ask, because that's what we're all about here.
Anything. Because these questions we're asking is what the most people want to know. But it's how people say them that makes other people, like
in the community,
feel like, so that's why people are afraid to say, well, I don't want to offend nobody.
Right. And we kind of get that. But at the same time, if you just think about it for 2 seconds and say, okay, if I said this and my mom were present, would I say it this way? And that's really a good barometer, a good bar to me, Would mom be okay with this? And then I'm thinking, okay, but there are some moms that are questionable. But anyways, moving on. So here is a list of questions that a lot of gay people queer people get asked. And some of them are, the way they come off, they're a little rude, but again, we're not, beating up on anybody here. We're just going to say what the question generally is, and then we're going to say a little something about it.
Yeah.
So the first one is, if you're gay, have you ever been with a woman? And if you're a lesbian, have you ever been with a man?
Well,
no.
No.
Well, actually, no.
Actually, no. Yes. Yes. Because I'm like,
each other.
No,
I'm gonna give you pizza ear because I had pizza.
We had pizza.
Yeah. Okay.
Pepperoni in my ear now. No, yes, I am a female, so I've been with a female, so I am a lesbian.
Yes, but have you ever been with? The question is always, if you're a lesbian, have you been with a man?
I am a lesbian.
She underscores that multiple times.
Exclamation.
Okay, so it's funny though. I did date a girl in high school, and I also made out with one in Balboa Park in the gay section, no less. Yeah,
God.
I know, right? So in my case, yeah, and.
No,
wasn't anything that got me thrilled.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say this, okay? And I'm saying it live. Yes, I did date a couple of guys, and one happened to be his cousin. Good-looking guy too.
Yes. Who's also gay.
Who's also gay now.
So she sealed that box and put nails in it.
So something just told me, hey, never mind.
She's gonna bring him to the dark side.
Lesbian.
Right. Okay, the second one you get is, we get a lot, is, I hope you ain't gonna try that shit on me. Okay, like everybody else in the world, attraction, we can see somebody we think is attractive. Don't mean we're gonna hit on it, We have just as much, willpower and good manners as the next person. So you know, if you think that, if you find out, oh, your best friend, typically this happens with a lot of guys in the locker room. They get thrown this thing, and they find out their bestie is suddenly gay. They're like, oh, I hope you ain't gonna try that shit on me.
Right.
It's like, fucker, if I were gonna do it, it would have already happened ages ago. And obviously you ain't cutting it for me. So
and in the locker room, the guys, you know, I know because I'll tell you in a minute, but yeah, guys will tell me, well, you just haven't had a real man.
Right.
Well, you know, it's
what is that? I don't even know what that is.
This real man that's telling me this, that he wants to do this, and I'm like, dude, I'm more manly than you are, Kiki. So I'm like, dude, trust me.
She is too. I'm not.
Okay.
She's not fooling. She's not fooling.
Not for real.
Anyways, okay. So the next one. When did you first decide you were gay? This one always kills me when I get it, because it's like, well, when did you decide you were straight? You know, it's just, you know. I mean, I remember being around boys, and I knew I was not like them. In fact, there's this great book called World of Boys, and the cover picture is perfect because it's a boy looking over a fence at a bunch of boys playing like a sport, and that really kind of encapsulates it for gay boys. We know what we like, we know what we're attracted to, but we also feel that separation of the wall. We know that's not our world.
Right.
So it plays a big factor in it. But, you know, when they first say, when did you decide? There is no decision. You know, you always are, and then it's not till you get to be a teenager or so and puberty kicks in.
When you make that decision.
Yeah, when you make that decision to actually act on it. You know? So.
Like I said, out of my mother, there it was. I was me.
Yeah.
So.
She was just like this, except in a dress.
Yeah. No. Actually, the doctor broke my arm. I came out looking at this. I swear to God. I'll find that picture and we'll put it up.
It was like that in the womb.
You know what I mean?
With a fedora and everything. Forget about it.
That was a good one. Okay. Next.
Okay. Next one we get is, are you a top or a bottom? Bitch, if you ain't in my bed, it ain't none of your business, okay? So that's the bottom line is, you know, this implies in many ways, you know, I see it as a gay man. I see it as a put down on women more than anything else, because what they're trying to determine, especially between men, I don't think it's so much for lesbians, but maybe the lesbians get this a lot.
I don't know, because I sleep on the top part of the bed. I don't really...
Your feet usually go down
at the bottom. Go at the bottom of the bed.
Right.
Babe, would that make us top? Or, you know...
I think we're going to get a chancla.
Chancla? Not yet.
She's thinking. She's thinking. Okay? I'm telling you. No, but it just... It implies, you know, because obviously top and bottom means, you know, are you the inserter or the insertee? And it's not like an IKEA thing, you know. I mean, there are some
more guy thing.
Yeah. Well, there are couples that don't ever do that. So I mean, it's just, you know, like I said, if you're not in the bedroom with the person you're asking, then what is it to you? Why do you need to know? So, moving on. This one is a killer. I would have never known you were gay. You seem so normal. She got that all the time, like from all the servicemen. Right? Right, guys?
Okay.
Come on.
Get out of here. Oh, my God. Jesus.
And then there was me. Gorgeous eye makeup, big long red hair. I used to dye it out.
You'll see pictures.
He's
not kidding.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. All right, so the next question: which is the man and which one is the woman? You know, as a gay man, it's like it's two men. That's the whole purpose. That's why, you know. So. And also, it goes back to the other question: top or bottom. You don't need to know, you know. But and in our case, you're both women.
We're both women.
And we're both men. That's the answer.
That's the answer.
It's as simple as that.
But because I look like Marilyn Monroe, my wife is the male factor. No, I'm just
kidding.
Right. Kidding.
No. So kidding. Okay.
Yeah. Both women.
And this one comes to like a lot of the gay guys. The gay guys get this all the time. They, you know, when a straight girl finds out, we should go shopping. Okay, but it's not a given. You know, I'm not going to go shopping with you just because I'm gay. So that one's a bizarre one, you know, but we do get it. They think that all of us shop, and there are a lot of gay guys who aren't into the shopping.
We do that, yeah.
Could you be my GBF, my gay best friend? I can be your friend. I can be your best friend. But the gay is really not part of it. That kind of turns us into a product like an iPhone. And
Yeah.
while we don't mind the comparison to an iPhone, but yeah.
Or like Vanna White's gonna come out and say gays.
Yeah, right. Here's your new gay best friend. Yeah. All right. And then this one is to all my bi friends out there, and actually my husband's bi, so this one kind of really grates on their nerves. Are you bi because you're greedy and just want to fuck everything inside?
You said the F word.
I said the F word.
Oh my god.
Fudge. Yeah. Right. I know. It's a doll. Don't look. It's just, you know, no, it's just like anybody else. You know, a relationship is, and here's the takeaway. Here's the big takeaway. A relationship is a relationship is a relationship. You had shit go on in yours? Yeah, we do too. We're just as boring as you are, trust me. All right? So, moving on from that. So, why are gay guys always so effeminate? Girl, I don't know where they get that.
Have no clue.
They aren't. Trust me, they're hard. I mean, look at these guys here that I'm posting up here. You're going to see they're, no. They're not all. Again, I think this kind of plays down on women because it's like effeminacy is a bad thing, and it's not. You know, I love Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye. I think he is amazing. I love Billy Porter. Give me some Billy Porter 24/7. I am good to go. So I like my effeminate queers. I think they are just a marvelous group of people who keep pushing the envelope and keep breaking the binary. So keep working, keep doing it. All right. So now the last one is you have same-sex marriage now. Isn't that enough?
No.
Nope. There are many places, not just in the United States, this is globally. There are many places in the world where they don't have it. They don't have general rights that many people enjoy. So for us to assume that marriage equality, and I don't like using the term same-sex marriage or gay marriage, it's just marriage. I think that, you know, you need to understand that for queer people in many places in the world, including the United States, you can be fired for just being gay. You can be thrown out of your apartment if they find out you're gay. You can have services denied to you because you're gay. So until those things come up with parity with everybody else in the world and we're not treated as second-class citizens, I think then we'll have reached that equality. And then, then our lives and everything about us will kind of fade into the mainstream and we just be part of the normal mainstream tapestry. But I think that until that happens, especially for queer brothers and sisters, I'll share a small story with you. I actually wrote a series that has to deal with two gay boys, one who's an out artist, and the other one is like traditional arts, like drawing, and the other one is a high school jock. And I wanted to write it because I wanted to write a story about a boy who is out, but he has to hide in the shadows. And then he falls in love with a boy who is made of nothing but pure light. He's the main jock on campus. He's literally the center of attention no matter where he goes. And what I found really interesting is that book went out, and I'm talking about homophobia in American football and how jocks are given a script that they have to bag the girls and get the blood on the gridiron, and you know there's a script that they're given that they need to follow when they're in high school. And what I found interesting is most of the people that I got emails from my books actually were from people in oppressed countries. And I found that really interesting because for the life of me, I could never figure out how a book about American football and the homophobia that's internalized in it would have any kind of relationship to someone in Saudi Arabia or someone who is in Nigeria, for example. And I got emails from people in those countries, Indonesia, and over across the board, they all said that my stories helped get them through another day. So again, until we have parity, until we have rights so everybody can feel protected and feel that they have a right to happiness and a fully filled life, then yeah, no, marriage is not the end of it. It's just the first step in a very long journey.
And just so you know, his book that he's talking about, the jock in there, is me. Okay, so it's called Angel of Mercy.
Yeah, it's Angels of Mercy.
Angel of Mercy,
Yeah.
seriously. And the jock is me. Okay? So, there it is.
So
folks.
that's it. That's our list. So if you've got questions beyond those, or even if you want to expound on some of these and want to ask us an alternate question or another way of asking the question, because we didn't really cover what your thoughts were on it, definitely put it down in the comments. Yeah.
Anything.
We're up for it all. Okay, and we'll start the next show with comments. We'll read comments and we'll respond to them. Okay, so that's it for the Enby Bag. So that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Number 3 in the can.
In the can.
I mean, it's done. So. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and to tell your friends about us. Tell them that you found this really cool channel where we're talking about queer life and shit, but beyond the clubbing scene, we're talking about life after.
Yeah. So we're here.
Yep.
So
And we're queer.
We
Get
are
over it.
again. God, I thought it was just me. Queer
It's
bags.
just you. I'm straight.
Yeah.
That still
Oh,
feels
that,
weird.
that sounds
That
so
still
weird.
feels weird.
I need
I
you-
gotta stop doing that. It's
It's
gas.
so gay.
Gas. Anyways.
Anyways, you know what, guys? Thank you so much for coming and watching us.
Yeah.
Keep us going. We love this. We love to be
We
with
love
you.
to do this.
And you know what? God bless
It's
you
only
all.
it's going to get better. We're working out all the kinks and all the things we need on the kinks. For a queer person to say kinks, that could
Okay,
mean
right.
leather whips and shit. But no, that's
No,
not what I mean. We're learning as we go,
All
and
right.
we really appreciate you being on the journey with us. Okay?
Yes.
And now to play us out, how about a little dance break?
We get down to the beat, y'all. We get down, down to the beat, y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all. It's like we're not going anywhere. Maybe it's because there's something in the air. And I don't even care, no, I don't even care anymore. It's like we're losing all track of time. I just got one thing on my mind. Baby, one day I'm hoping that you will be mine. Turn my life around. So where do we go when everything feels like it just stays the same? Where do we go from here when everything...
Born American, Marco and Pietro Sforza were reared by their paternal grandmother in their father's ancestral hometown of Torino, Italy. The Sforzas are an ancient, powerful, and prominent family with a ducal past. Surrounded by wealth and fame, these young men are destined to bask in the light of celebrity and power. They are being groomed to be great leaders who will inherit a global empire. But Marco and Pietro are keepers of secrets, both their own and those of others. Back in California, Elliot Donahue is an out, young, queer boy, artistic, empathic, and full of secret passions. He is a boy who craves darkness, seeking protective shadows where he can hide from those who don't understand him, and to provide him with the means of surviving one more hellish day of high school. When the Sforza boys return to America, they settle down in the quiet northern California town of Mercy. Nestled along the rugged coast just outside of Big Sur, these teenage boys, along with their classmates, lead surprisingly dramatic lives set against the monumental cliffs and iconic seasides. You see, Mercy is a town full of secrets. In Angels of Mercy, we discover the secrets and desires of each of these boys, pitting a boy who requires darkness and shadow to survive, only to find himself in the arms of a boy made of pure light. These young men must find their way together as they move through their senior year at Mercy Hall. Tucked into Marco's classic 67 Impala, the boys set out to carve their own form of happiness, but the odds may not be in their favor, for others are taking note of them and don't like what they see. Rising up may be the hardest of all. My Summer of Love by S.A. Collins.